Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna devotees. A warm welcome to all of you on behalf of ISKCON Chennai and on my personal behalf. Sorry, there was a little delay in starting the session. I seek all your forgiveness. Now, before we start, let us start with Mangalacharanam prayers. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamayyam Dadati Swa Padandikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Neelachara Nivasaya Nityaya Paramatmane Bhalabhadra Subhadrabhyam Shri Jagannathaye Te Namaha Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratvishe Namaha Panchatattva Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukum karoti vachalam pangum vande degirim yatkripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dhinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Om Tatsat. Hare Krishna. So, today we are going to be seeing Isopanisad, shloka number 2 to 5. We will try to cover 4 shlokas today. So, my PPT may not play very well, but I will still try to do my best. Actually, there was some deficiency in my preparation. I beg your pardon for that. But we will still be able to do justice to the class. We are going to be doing 4 shlokas today. So you remember we read invocation in the last class. Invocation was an amazing shloka. That is Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. From there we got the understanding that the absolute truth is whole and perfect and complete. And it always remains like that. Now, whatever creation we see around us, it has all come from that whole only. The whole and perfect has given birth to all these things what we see around us. Whether it is the material world, or we see the spiritual world, or we see the living entities, everything has come from that supreme whole. But the nature of the complete perfect whole is that it will never diminish. Even if you take out so many things out of that, it will still remain whole. Do we have such an experience in this material world? that you go on taking things out, but what was originally there, it remains the same. Is it possible that you slice one bread and go on taking out slices and distributing? At some point of time, you are left with no bread, nothing is there. The bread has been transformed into so many slices and distributed. So, where is the bread? The bread has become so many slices and it has been distributed to so many people. So, where is the original bread? You will say, what foolishness is this? Original bread only has become so many slices and it is gone. There is no more bread. That is our factual, logical understanding in this world. That if there is some object and you distribute it, the object is gone. The original object has been partitioned, it has been cut into pieces and distributed. So, how it can remain? So, all of us live in this material world where this logic applies. What logic? This is the logic of dead matter. The logic of dead matter. You cut it into pieces and distribute it, the original object is gone. Only by damaging beyond redemption the original object, you can distribute it. You can make pieces, carve out different pieces out of it. Is it true or not? Absolutely, all of you will agree. But the mental speculators or the Mayavadis or the impersonalists, they apply the same logic when they try to understand God. So, what they will say, there was Brahman, originally the formless Brahman, but now that formless has become so many. So, it is the same formless whole Brahman that has now become the universe. Now, if you ask, where is that whole? No, how can that be? That has become the universe. The universe cannot come out of nothing. The same Brahman has now taken the shape of the universe. So, what about God? They will say, yes, the Jivatma, the God, and the entire material creation, all these three things are the same Brahman only. The same Brahman has now become three. Originally, it was a formless some Brahman. Now that has become three things. What are the three? Ishvara, Jiva, and the material creation. That's what it is. Now, if you ask where is Brahman, it's not there. Unless I resolve all these three things together, then I will have Brahman again. If I can combine all these things together, again, it will become nothing, the formless one God. So they will say, either they will say, so God has become all these three, or they will say, no, the three what you see is actually Maya. It is an illusion. Yes? All these three actually don't exist. You are that Brahman, but you are under illusion, thinking I am this body. The moment the whole Brahman gets into an illusion that I am this body, then immediately three things happen simultaneously. The moment Brahman says, I am a jiva, I am a person, instantly two other things happen. What is that? The whole creation comes into place. When I become a jiva, the creation comes into place. And then I start thinking, oh, I am such a small jiva and there is a big universe around me, so there must be a creator. So they will say Ishvara. We will say there must be a Ishvara because he has created this massive universe and it is governed by so many laws, and all these laws are perfect. So, if somebody can make such amazing, perfect laws that control this universe, then that person must be super intelligent. So, that is Ishvara. So, the Jiva, the Ishvara, and the creation, all these things happen simultaneously. And they say, you do meditation, dhyana, and gradually you progress in dhyana. You withdraw all your senses through pranayama. You do asanas, then pranayama. You control your breath, you keep your body still, then the energy which is going out through your senses, that energy is only experiencing the world through the senses. So you withdraw that energy. So the energy which is operating through the senses and showing the world, that energy will be withdrawn and it will go back into the spinal cord, the trunk line, spinal cord that is connecting our brain with Muladhara, that is where the trunk line. From that only all the nerves are branching out to all our senses. So they will say withdraw it, bring it back into the spinal cord. Then what happens? From the spinal cord, from Muladhara to Agnya Chakra, you raise it, and then you merge into Brahma. And you merge, and suddenly there is no Jiva, there is no universe, and there is no Ishvara. You have become that. So, this is what Mayavadis will say, because they are using their material logic, Tarkavad, common sense they are using to understand something which is beyond common sense. That is the understanding of Purnamadaha Purnamidam. From out of the whole, any amount of things you bring out, the whole remains undiminished, unperturbed, unchanged, the same whole. Okay, that is one amazing thing. The second amazing thing is that whatever comes out from that whole is also perfect. You can take out infinite number of things out of that perfect whole, and all of them are perfect in themselves, and still the original perfect will remain the same whole perfect. So what an amazing thing Isopanisad is teaching us. So it is asking you to come out of your paradigms, whatever set paradigms of this material creation. All our assumptions, all our understandings are based on our empirical experience, our experience in this world, and we are unable to think beyond. But Ishopanishad, it has come from Supreme Lord. It is part of Yajurveda, composed by Vyasadeva, who is an incarnation of Vishnu. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya, Vyasa Rupaya Vishnave. That is Vishnu. So he has given us this truth. What fools we have been to neglect this wealth, this treasure that has been given to us by God personally descending as Vyasadeva and giving all these things to us. Because we were under Mughal rule, and then more importantly, we came under British rule, they systematically destroyed this knowledge. This knowledge was preserved by the Brahmanas. Only the Brahmanas had this knowledge. The Vedas, it was composed, it was written down by Vyasadeva, divided into four and given to four paramparas, and they were having this. And through Gurukul system, this was being imparted to everyone. So everybody knew. More or less, they knew the essential facts of who is God, who am I, why am I here, why am I suffering, what is the solution, what I should do, what I should not do, everything they knew. But unfortunately, that has been lost. The British systematically destroyed our system of respecting the Guru and a Gurukula system where all boys would go and learn. That is gone. So, the invocation shloka of Ishopanishad itself is a great eye opener. It prepares you for what? Prepares you for something mind boggling, something that is not possible to understand only. It is achintya, it is unthinkable, it is inconceivable. No way that we can fully understand. Even if you think you have understood, no. If somebody says, I have understood, no, they are wrong. That means they have not understood anything. If someone says, I have understood now that I cannot understand it, they have understood it. God, the Supreme, is such that I can never understand. This is what Brahmadev told, when after the Brahma Vimohan Leela was over, when Krishna gave him darshan that all the gopas and all the calves, they're all me. And each of them became a Vishnu. And so many more things happened. There is no time to describe all these things. But Brahma got so much illusioned or disillusioned about his own greatness. Before the Brahma thought, oh, I am so great, he's such a small child. I will show him what I am, like that. But now Brahma became, oh, I am a firefly. Firefly can shine only in the new moon night. But when the sun is up in the sky, the light of the firefly doesn't even show. You can't see. Firefly will become a dull insect in the presence of the sun. No light will appear. So Brahma says, I was a firefly. I was showing my colors when it was dark. Darkness is Maya. But now the sun of Krishna has arisen and there is no darkness. And I am just a firefly that has been revealed. So he said, let people say anything they want, that I have seen God, I have understood God, I know the powers of God. But as far as I am concerned, let me admit that I simply don't know anything about you. That was the confession Brahmadev made. So we are in the same condition. When we read Isopanisad, we come to the conclusion that I really do not know. But to know that I don't know God and I will never know God, that is actually really knowing God. Really knowing God is to know that you can never know God fully. Because God is beyond all our comprehension. The supreme whole is beyond understanding. But then Ishopanishad helps you to understand how you can know God. Because when God is merciful to you, then you will know God. Because there is nothing impossible for God. That is the thing we should remember. So, I am so tiny and God is so great. How can I understand? You can understand if God wills that you should understand. Then, inside a small mustard seed, God can put all the seven oceans and pack it nicely. God can do that. And God can put a whole elephant through the eye of a needle. If you say, no, no, God cannot do, that means you have not understood anything about God. As far as God is concerned, He can do anything and everything. That will be the correct understanding of God. And then we saw second shloka flowing out of that from invocation. We saw Isavashyam. Isavashyam means everything belongs to God. That one whole, everything has come out of that whole. So everything belongs to that whole. Whatever your possessions, they are actually belonging to Him. They have been given to you temporarily. And at the same time, you also belong to God. Not only that your wealth belongs to God, but actually you also belong to God. So when I belong to God, what should I do? So these questions should arise. Yeah? So that way we develop our relationship with the Supreme Whole by knowing I belong to Him. So what does He expect of me? Like that we develop. And uh, as far as today's session is concerned, I have a little problem about projecting all the slokas and the translations. I hope all of you are having your books with you. Kindly open to the second shloka. I have it in the screen, but the font is quite small. I don't know whether you can read it or not. I will read it. Kindly from your book, you can also read. Kurvanyeveha karmani जिजीविषेच्छ तं समाह एवं त्वयि नान्यते तोस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. Once again we will read. कुर्वन्नेवेह कर्माणि जिजीविषेच्छ तं समाह एवं त्वयि नान्यते तोस्ति न कर्म लिप्यते नरे. So first shloka told us that Isavashit, everything belongs to God. You also belong to God. So, whatever is given to you as your quota by the proprietor. Who is the proprietor? God. Everything belongs to you. Whatever quota He gave, yet enjoy that. But don't look at another man's quota and desire to enjoy that. Don't desire to enjoy another person's quota. That is the perfect recommendation for the men of this world. We are all controlled by greed and fear. Fear of losing and greed of getting what everybody is having. I want that. And this is the biggest problem that is facing mankind today. So, to know that I have a quota given to me and that is what I should experience contentedly and use it in the service of the Supreme from whom I have got everything. And I should never look at another man's property for my own enjoyment. So this shloka develops from that further. It continues that shloka. And what it says, one may aspire to live for hundreds of years, chatam samaha. Hundreds of years you can try to live, you can aspire to live. If he continuously goes on working in that way. What way? Isavashyam way. Knowing everything belongs to God. I am only a trustee. Temporarily, I have all these things, but I should use it consciously in His service. If you have that consciousness, then that sort of work will not bind him to the law of karma. So here the law of karma comes. It will not, na karma lipyate nare. If you live in that sentiment, you will not be bound by karma. How many of us are very much afraid of karma? In fact, most of us are afraid of sinful karma because I have to suffer. We are not very much afraid of punya karma Because we think, oh, Punya Karma means I'll have some good experience. But please remember, even to have that good experience, you have to come back to this world. And what is this world? This is a miserable world, Dukkhalaya. So, even to experience your Punya Karma, you have to come to this world which is full of suffering only. So, whether it is Punya Karma or Papa Karma, it binds you to this material world. So, when you operate on the Isavashyam principle, neither Punya nor Karma comes to you, nor Papa comes to you. That means whatever karmic binding you had in the past, it is unraveled. Existing karma goes away, new karma will not catch you. So the Isopanisad says, if you can live in that way, you can live for hundreds of years peacefully, happily, without any bondage. You will be an unconditioned soul. You will be a liberated soul. So then it adds, Evam tvayi na anyate tosti. There is no alternative to this for man. Please understand, there is no alternative. You have to live by Isavashyam principle. If you have to live for hundreds of years in this planet peacefully, without disturbance, happily, and there is no other way. Hmm? There is no other way. This is what it says. So now let us try to discuss it briefly and then we'll move on to the third shloka. So here it talks about karma lipyate. That's called karma bandhana. Bondage by karma. So can somebody tell what is karma bandhana? I won't be able to wait too long. You have to be very fast. What is karma bandhana?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, whatever pious or impious activities we do, it will really bind us.
Yes.
If not, if we don't experience the effects of karma in this janma, it will carry
Yes.
forward to the next janma.
Yes. When you say pious or impious karma, how do they arise?
If we follow the scripture, what rules and regulations of scriptures, that is yama, yama and niyama.
That's
Prohibited
one.
actions.
But how does an activity become pious or impious activity? What is the core element which makes some activity pious or impious? That is binding. We know pious and impious activities both bind. So I want to know how that bondage arises. What is a key element there?
If we do some pious activity, if we do good to other people, we have to enjoy the benefit of that goodness. But whatever karma we have done, that fruits, we have to enjoy the fruit of
Yeah,
that.
yeah, but you should say that if I do an activity with a desire to enjoy the fruit, then it
Okay.
binds you. When you have a consciousness that I am the doer, so I am entitled to the fruit of my action. I am doing some action, so I am the doer, so I should get the benefit of my action. In that consciousness, if you act, then you get pious or impious result, depending on whether you are acting according to scripture or not scripture. Yeah. So the key element is how you see. You see yourself as an individual enjoyer, controller, proprietor. Then the bondage happens. So that is karma bandhana. When the individual gets a feeling that yes, I am in control of my destiny. I am manipulating the material world around me. I am the master of all I survey. I can plan and execute and get the results I want. No, it's called fruitive activity. I am working for a particular fruit and I know how to get it. That is fruitive activity. Then you are bound. But Isavashyam says, no, my dear friend, that is not the case. Somebody else is the owner, somebody else is the enjoyer, somebody else is the controller. You are not. So when we have that consciousness that causes birth and death, that means such a person who lives in this world, in this karma, bound by this karmic idea of fruitive activity, he will take birth and death, birth and death, birth and death in this world. He'll go on taking birth and dying. But a person in the Ishavashyam concept, he doesn't take rebirth because he knows everything belongs to God. And he sees himself as also a property of God. And he lives his life as an offering to God. Everything he does is for the pleasure of God, understanding that he is my master, I am his servant. So he doesn't undergo birth and death. So in this world, we see there is always struggle for existence. All these questions, how I have framed, it's all from Isopanisad book only. So if you kindly read the book, you will get these questions and the answers. I have just tried to convert into questions, that's all. So can someone say why there is struggle for existence in this world? Individually and collectively? Is there a struggle for existence, first of all? You accept?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And why does it happen? Can someone try?
Everyone wants to live long.
Yeah. Why does everyone want to live long?
No one interested to die
No one wants to die. Why? Can you say why?
because
To
we are more
fulfill their own
popular.
desires, Prabhuji.
No, something else.
To enjoy sense gratification.
Sense gratification, yes. But
Ma-
why we
ma-
want to go on living?
Material enjoyment, Prabhuji. Material enjoyment.
Material enjoyment. But the most important point, what Prabhupada says, is
Desire.
because we are eternal souls. It is our nature. We are eternal. The soul which is animating this body is eternal. So how can we accept dying? How can the soul accept dying? The conscious entity in this body is actually soul. The false ego is not alive. False ego is jada. It is a dead matter. False ego is a subtle dead matter. So I consciousness is not real, but the I behind the I concept, that is real. That is the soul consciousness. So because we are souls, even though we are covered by illusion that I am this body, but the struggle for existence is happening because the soul is looking for eternal existence. Because the soul will not die. The soul within is struggling. It doesn't accept that this body will one day become old, it will decay and it will die. It's not accepting. Both individually and collectively, the whole mankind is operating on that principle, struggling for existence because I cannot accept that I will die. Because that is my nature, the soul's nature is to be eternal. So, all these points, you have to meditate and enjoy. Because I can only give you a hint, otherwise I will get caught in one point only. So we have to move on. There is so much more to cover. But please understand, struggle for existence is natural to the soul which is caught in this material world. In spiritual world, there is no struggle because the soul has a spiritual body which is eternal only. Here we are struggling for happiness because the nature of the soul is joy, ananda. So we are struggling for happiness. So all these things are in the nature of the soul. So what is the law of nature? Basic nature, basic law, as you sow, so you shall reap. The way we live, the fruits of that we will get. That is how the nature has been ordained. So this sloka told us Isavashyam principle. So that is how law of nature operates. If you respect the Isavashyam principle, nature will allow you to live an eternal life of joy. But if you are violating the Isavashyam principle, then it will put you into karma bandhana. For each of your actions, it will produce a result. That will produce a result. Multiple results actually. Vasana is created because the impression, whatever you do, it creates an impression in your heart, and that leads to further action, desire to do further action on the same lines. So, and then you get reactions also. This is the law of nature. So, no one can escape from this law unless they accept the Isavashyam principle. So, law of nature is if you do the right activities, you will get punya, do wrong activities, you will get papa. And these are coded in the Vedas. So Vedas contain the duties, what is prescribed for all of us. By following the rules in the Vedas, you will increase piety, you will avoid impiety, sinful action. So Vedas are here to guide men at every level. At the beginning level also, it puts you into the Varnashrama system and tells you what are your prescribed duties, and by sincerely following that, you avoid papa and you can collect punya. This is how you start prescribed duties. And then you will do prescribed duties without attachment to fruits. That's at a higher level. So you have to start at karma, Karma Yoga. You will perform your duties and enjoy what is awarded as a result of your karma. Right? But gradually you will become detached from the fruit, saying, oh, it doesn't belong to me. It actually belongs to Isha. Ishavasi belongs to him. And my business is to only serve. That is my duty. Then you go to Nishkamya. So like that we have to move. From first we have to follow the rules. Even if you want the fruits, it's okay. It's a starting point, Karma Yoga. But then Nishkamya Karma Yoga follows after some time. You realize, this is all temporary results I don't want. But I will perform my duty for the happiness of my maker, my creator, my master, like that. If you transgress this rule, that causes karma bandhana. So Isavasyam principle is very key to our existence. So why is human form special among 84 lakh species?
Because of the consciousness, Prabhuji.
Because of what consciousness?
That he's the body and he can think, Prabhuji. He has a
Think what?
soul.
When you think, you won't get the answer that you have a soul.
Because we have the inquisitive nature to probe who is inquisitive.
Yes, inquisitive to know, who am I? Who am I? Where
Who
did
is
I come from? Why am I suffering? Straight away. Only when there is suffering, all these things can come. I recognize that there is suffering. Then my questioning comes, why am I suffering? Why do I undergo the process of birth, old age, disease and death? Why this is imposed on me? How can I become free from this? What should I do to become free? These questions only human being can ask out of 84 lakh species. That means from 84 lakh species we have evolved. In 84 lakh species we were doing only eating, sleeping, mating, defending, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Oh, unlimited lifetimes we have done that. Now at last we have elevated to human form. In human form also, eating, sleeping, mating, defending, eating, sleeping, opportunity is there. Opportunity is there, but there's a higher opportunity available in human form, which is to become permanently free from this problem of material existence and go back home to spiritual world, where you can enjoy eternally with the Supreme Lord. So, in the human form, you have both the inferior pleasure, which is temporary, antavastu phalam tesham, tad bhavati alpamedasham. People who are of low intelligence, they are looking for the same material pleasures which animals, pigs are enjoying. Dogs and cats and pigs are enjoying the same pleasure that human beings are dying to enjoy today. Same pleasures. So that is also available. But there is an opportunity, there is a window opening for us through which we can escape from this material existence permanently and experience Satchitananda forever. So that opportunity is what makes human form very special. Same pleasures are available like animals. We can live like animals. Then what nature will do? We saw law of nature. It will say, I gave you a special form as a human being, but you don't want, right? You want to simply go on eating, sleeping, eating. Then fine, I'll give you a lower form, which is more suitable for you. Actually, you can do better. In human form, you get so much of anxiety, worry, hankering, lamenting, all that. Don't worry. I will make you a fish or I will make you a dog where you don't have this disturbance. Your mind will disturb you so much. So nature will put you into animal species. So, one second. So what are the three types of karma? Quickly, please. Those who have not spoken so far, I'll be happy if others can open up. Chaya Devi Mataji.
Karma,
Karma, vikarma.
akarma, vikarma.
Karma, akarma, and vikarma. These are the three types of karma. Okay, fine. All of you know what they mean. Now the question is, who are the three types of men who match these three types of karma? It's all in the book, Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, yes.
Akarma is done by the devotees, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
And then Vikarma is done by atheists, those who doesn't believe in the Shastras, Vedas. They don't believe in this.
Yeah.
And karma is done by the fruitive activity, who expect the results for their karma.
Yeah.
They
But
follow the
Prabhupada uses a different language, very beautiful language.
Sattvic.
Prabhupada says, intelligent men do akarma. Intelligent men. And Prabhupada also uses the word advanced men. Intelligent men, advanced men, they go for akarma. Because they don't want to exist in this material world anymore, to enjoy eating, sleeping, mating, defending eternally. They realize 84 lakh species I have crossed. Now I have a special opportunity, I should get out. So they are the intelligent people. So let us decide for ourselves, what am I? Maybe we were not born intelligent, but by the mercy of Vaishnavas, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord and the Parampara, Acharya Parampara, we have got this knowledge. We have got this intelligence now. Maybe we are not born with that intelligence, but we have been given that intelligence. So today, there is a difference whether you are born with that intelligence or you've been given that intelligence. Only difference is, yes, we should be grateful. We should be extremely grateful for having got this intelligence now. But we have to admit that we are intelligent people today. Till yesterday we were not, but today we are. So what kind of work we should do? A karma, because it will free you from material existence. Okay, who will do karma? If intelligent men will do karma, who are the people who do karma?
Materialistic people.
You can refer the book and answer. Let me ask you one question. Are all of you having Isopanisad with you?
Yes.
Can I see hands going up, please? Let me see how many hands go up. Isopanisad is a small book. I don't know, it may not cost more than 40 rupees. I don't see many hands going up. You want to learn Isopanisad without investing 40 rupees? Yeah, I don't see anybody else putting up their hands. Are you having any problem getting hold of a copy? I have seen only 4 hands up. And including me, we are only 5 people having the book. But without the book, it will be very difficult for you to, because I won't be able to cover it so completely. Now I have 7 hands up. But still, it is too few. What is the difficulty in buying this book? Can someone who doesn't have the book answer, please? Anyone not having the book can try to answer this. Saudamani Mataji, yes.
Prabhuji, I read the Veda base, Prabhuji, online.
You have the book online.
Yes,
Fine.
yes.
So everyone who is accessing the book online, please raise your hands also. Because it doesn't matter whether you are reading a soft copy or a hard copy, as long as you are reading it, fine. But I still prefer that you should have a hard copy. But fine, soft copy, fine. But again, I don't see hands not going up. Let me honestly tell you, without the book, I can't do justice to you if you don't have the book. Either a soft copy or a hard copy, because I won't be able to cover line to line, but every line, every word of Prabhupada's books are packed with power. I cannot transfer it to you. Please, please express your gratitude and humility to Srila Prabhupada by acquiring a copy. Please acquire a copy. Either you place an order, I don't know, online, or you go to the nearest ISKCON temple, or you ask one devotee. Devotee will be happy to fetch you one copy. You just say, oh, I want to have a copy of Vishnu. They will turn heaven and earth and they will give you a copy. So please, all of you have this wealth. This is wealth. It's coming from Yajurveda. It's an amazing compact. Why did Prabhupada choose to translate Isopanisad? There are so many Upanishads. Prabhupada chose Isopanisad because Prabhupada is giving all his compassion to us. What we need to know, Prabhupada is giving for us. So I sincerely recommend that all of you should have a copy. See, I was thinking, okay, even though I don't project the sloka on the screen, devotees will be having, so there is no problem. But I'm really disappointed that all of you are not having. Maybe I did not very strongly emphasize this point in the earlier classes. It is my fault. Now I am telling all of you, please do get a copy of Isopanisad. So 3 types of men Prabhupada mentions. I have already told you, advanced men, intelligent men. Second type of men, ordinary men. Ordinary men. What do? Ordinary men? Karma. Ordinary men do karma. What is karma? Prescribed duty. And where are the prescribed duties given? They are given in the Vedas, scriptures. So an ordinary man learns the scriptures, finds out what are my duties, and he does only that, so that he will not incur papa. He avoids papa by executing prescribed duties. And what kind of a man is he? Ordinary man. So who am I? I don't know what are prescribed duties. So I am definitely third category. What is the third category? Foolish man. So intelligent men, ordinary men, foolish men. What foolish men do? Vikarma. Why do they do vikarma? Can somebody explain why people do vikarma?
Because they do not know the rules. They don't follow the rules.
They don't know the rule, fine. But without knowing the rule also you can do karma, no? Why they do? Yes.
Prabhuji, they are
Out
in
of ignorance,
illusion.
Prabhuji.
They are in illusion, Prabhuji, that
Yeah.
I am the body also.
So,
Out of ignorance. Prabhuji.
but out of ignorance, why you do vikarma? Out of ignorance, you can do karma also.
Because they
don't-
don't have Sukriti, Prabhuji.
They don't believe.
They don't believe, but still I don't get the
Desire
answer.
to enjoy.
Why they
Desire to
choose?
enjoy.
Why they choose vikarma? You can do karma also to enjoy.
Desire
They
to
are
enjoy.
they are like asuras.
You know why?
They misuse their
Why they are called fools? You know. Today they are suffering. I am sorry, my internet is unstable. Anytime I may go off. See, they are suffering in this world. Why they are suffering? Because of past
past
misdeeds,
Past karma.
past vikarma. Correct? They are suffering due to past vikarma. And they are thinking, I will get out of the results of my vikarma by doing more vikarma. Does it sound intelligent? So that's why they are called fools. Someone who is a liar, someone who is a cheat, someone who is a meat eater, someone who is a gambler, someone who is a womanizer, all these things. They are simply fools. So let us not fall into that category. Vikarma is simply out. Because all of us accept that we are suffering. And we know that suffering is coming from vikarma. Then why would I do vikarma more? So it's very important for us to know what is karma and what is vikarma, and we should strictly execute karma. And when we execute karma, we should try to be detached from the fruit. That's the next higher stage. And being detached from the fruit, higher than that, is to offer the fruit to the original owner of my wealth and myself. I offer it to Krishna. So that is the perfection of work. Okay, so what does this shloka recommend to us? Okay, I'll try to move a little fast. I think time is short. This shloka is recommending to work in Isavashyam consciousness, that everything belongs to God. I am here as a servant of God. Whether all animate, inanimate, you remember, Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. Yeah? Ishavashamidam Suro, Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat. All animate, inanimate, moving, non-moving things of this universe, everything is the property of the Supreme Lord. So in that consciousness we have to work. So who is qualified for Nishkamya Karma? So Prabhupada says, please read Bhagavad Gita 3:9-16. So what does it say? Human beings, when the Lord sent human beings on this planet, he also sent demigods and he also sent sacrifice, the process of sacrifice. You remember Pravartita Chakra, that the chakra which is maintaining everything. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanti annat sambhavaha. How everything is done? By yajna. When men perform yajna, from that only all prosperity comes. And that prosperity is given by the devatas. Yajna is performed for the satisfaction of devatas, and the devatas give all your needs when they are satisfied with your offerings, and with that you do more yajnas. And like that, the cycle. In briefly, I am telling the cycle is you do yajna means you offer what you have to the demigods in gratitude, and then demigods give you more and more of your whatever you need. They supply. That chakra is called karma chakra. You can say, right? That is, you work in a spirit of gratitude to the demigods because you still do not know the highest, that the demigods are all department heads of the Supreme Lord. So you work in that consciousness. You work as gratitude and offer it to the devatas as sacrifice, and devatas will maintain you. This kind of thing goes on until you become elevated. You go beyond the Vedas, the consciousness of three modes, and realize that there is a Supreme Lord and I am answerable to Him. Then you go into the bhakti process where you offer everything to the Lord. So by first performing karma yoga, as explained in 3:9 to 16, in the third chapter 9 to 16, then you will reach Nishkamya Karma Yoga. Then only you will be qualified to do Nishkamya Karma. And Nishkamya Karma actually becomes Akarma. Nishkamya Karma is also Akarma. It is transcendental. Not only devotees do Nishkamya Karma, but also Jnanis can do Nishkamya Karma. As long as you are not looking for material results, you are looking for transcendental results, that is Nishkamya Karma. But when devotees do activities of bhakti, they get a result higher than that. Jnanis can at best aspire to go to Brahmajyoti, but bhaktas will go right up to the Vaikuntha planets. That is the extra what we get. Okay. So when do the modes stop binding the soul? So when the soul acts on that consciousness of Nishkamya Karma, then the three gunas don't bind. You are on the transcendental platform. Okay. So are human beings meant to work for existence? Are we meant to work for our existence?
Yes, Prabhuji.
What kind of work we are supposed to do?
Service of Lord Krishna, to serve the Lord Krishna.
Yes.
All our activities dovetail to Lord's service.
Perfect. That's at the highest level. At least we should do prescribed duties. If human beings are also forced to work for our existence, we all agree. We are now in this material world because of our past karma. So we have to do something to maintain ourselves, maintain our families. We have to work. But what kind of work humans should do? We should do at least what is prescribed in the Vedas, not what is prohibited in the Vedas. Yes, as Mohandas Prabhu says, we should do everything as the action of devotion to the Lord. It will take us to the highest result. But at least, in order to not fall down from a human form to an animal form and down to the hell, at least we should do what is prescribed. So when is man addicted to fruity work? When he is having false ego. Then he only thinks I am the body. So at best he will try to go to heaven. He will try to enjoy in this world. Then he will say, no, I will try to go to heaven where there is much more scope for enjoyment. So that addiction is there only when I have a false ego, that I am a body, like that. And humanism, altruism, socialism, etc., we consider it as selfless work or selfish work. What do you say? Yeah? Thought provoking? You can try to answer this. Humanism.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Can I
Yes.
come?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, it is selfish work because it is under the bodily platform. We are identifying ourselves as a body. So we are nowhere going and trying to connect with the soul or trying to do devotional service. So that is the reason all these things are selfish.
And Prabhupada uses one word, one phrase to describe this. What does he say about this? Extended selfishness. We are not working for the pleasure of our own senses, but you are working for the pleasure of other human beings, for our countrymen or human beings of the whole world, like that. But it is all on the bodily platform, as Prabhuji just now said. So when you are on the bodily platform, you are either working for your own sense pleasure or you are working for the sense pleasure of other living entities, forgetting that they are all souls like you. You are also soul, they are also soul. So material happiness is not your goal. So that way, even you
Prabhuji,
are, yes, yes, Prabhu.
Prabhuji, can we think of what Prabhupada says like this? That is a man saving, doing such altruism or humanism, etc. He is trying to save the dress of a drowning man.
Correct. Perfect. Saving the dress of a drowning man. You know, somebody is drowning in the water and someone says, I am going to save that person. And very courageously he swims across into the river and then comes back very successfully, showing in his hand, yeah, I saved him. And in his hand, only the shirt is there. the person is gone. So, like that, you are only serving the body. But the body is not suffering. The person suffering is the soul. So you have to help the soul to free itself. So that way, even if you work in the name of socialism or communism or altruism, anthropom or what do they call, philanthropism, whatever, it's all selfish. First you have to know who you are. Then only actual work can start. So under what conditions these can be done? Prabhupada answers, in Krishna consciousness, you can do humanism, altruism, socialism, everything. But in Krishna consciousness, what does it mean? Put God in the center. Put God in the center. And you serve God in all your activities. When you serve a human being, say, here is a child of God and I want to serve him. So, unless we have that God-centered nature, even altruism, humanism and all will only bring you karma, which is not very good actually. So, what is the risk in living life irresponsibly? There is a danger. The danger is
To fall down
we become
to animal kingdom.
yes, that's all. We become trapped eternally. So this mantra again it recommends to live in the Isavasya consciousness. So a long, healthy or a famous life in this world, is it desirable? Should a person aspire to live a long life, healthy life, famous life, healthy life, whatever? Is it a good desire? What is a good desire? The answer is
To escape birth,
yes. Yes,
to
Mataji.
escape the chain of birth and death, Prabhuji.
So the answer to this question is clearly no. Long, healthy, famous, wealthy, etc. life in this world is not desirable. We should not aspire for it only. We should not be envious of others who are having all these things in their life. It's not desirable because we should live in the consciousness of Ishavashyam principle. That is only desirable. Our consciousness should become God-centered. That is the only desirable life. In that consciousness, you can live for hundreds of years. That's what this sloka recommends. You can live for hundreds of years, provided you have that consciousness. Without that consciousness, living long in this world is a danger because we will suffer more. Yeah. So third mantra, I will read from here. I have the third mantra somewhere, but I don't know whether I can. No, I don't think I can procure it for you now. So, third mantra is like this. Asuryanama te loka andena tamasa vrataha tamste pretyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano janaha. Once again I will read. Asuryanama te loka andena tamasa vrataha tamste pretyabhigachanti yeke chatmahano janaha. I think better that you all have hard copies of the book, so that we can travel together in the book. Maybe next session onwards, I will keep the book also and we will turn the pages and we will go on. That may be even a better way of doing it, because however much I try, I cannot capture Prabhupada in my words. I will fail miserably. Let us travel with Prabhupada. So kindly between now and next class, be ready, be equipped with this book. My humble request to all of you. It is not expensive, it is not difficult to get, and it is a welcome addition to your home library. So many other books, you can throw it away to make space for this tiny book. Such a tiny book only. So if you have to make space, throw away the Oxford English Dictionary or something. And in that space, you please put this book. Because Oxford English Dictionary will not go with us. But this wisdom will definitely go with us. So, does human form carry heavy responsibility? Okay, let me read the translation of the shloka. The killer of the soul, it starts like this. Atmahano Jana, the killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into the planets known as the world of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. That means those who are killers of the soul, we will see who are the killers of the soul. They will go into the darkest planets. They will go to hellish planets, which is the world of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance. So this is what the third shloka. So second shloka said, with this consciousness, you can live forever. Which consciousness? Isavashya consciousness. Third shloka says, if you don't have this consciousness, then you go to hell. Darkness, full of ignorance and darkness. So see how important Ishavashyam is for our life. It is not simply some theory to write some answers in some question book, not like that. This is for application in our life. Ishavashyam is something that we should know well. We should know well. We should be always aware of this principle. We are suffering because of vikarma. Should we escape from suffering by doing more vikarma? This should be strongly registered in our heart. Vikarma is definitely not the way. If somebody is doing vikarma, let him. I will try to help him if I can. But at least I will not learn from somebody who is doing vikarma. Okay, I will also do. Everybody is doing vikarma. Let me also join the bandwagon. If everybody going to hell, I will also go with them. That would not be very intelligent for us. So, does human form carry heavy responsibilities? What are they? Yes? Can try? Let me open up more and more questions so that you can be ready. Yes? Human form carries very heavy responsibility. Why? Because this is the time you can escape. Otherwise, you'll join the 84 lakh species. Only when we are in human form, that heavy responsibility of serving the Lord, aligning my will to the will of the Supreme, and by that way becoming eternally His servant. That is the responsibility of the human form of life. All are servants, but animals don't know. But man should, atato brahma jigyasa, he should inquire, he should go to the right sources and learn. He has to learn and then implement in his life. That is a heavy responsibility. We have to learn the scripture from the proper sources and then implement in our life to become free and go back home. That's a heavy responsibility. So there are only two kinds of people in the universe, according to Prabhupada. Who are the two kinds of people?
Thesis and the atheists, Prabhu.
And Prabhupada describes it slightly differently. What Prabhupada says, those who know their responsibilities and act on that responsibility, that is one kind of people. Second kind of people, they don't know the responsibility, so they act whimsically. They have no information about this responsibility. And those who know, they are called suras. Sura also refers to demigods. So those who know the responsibility of this existence, they are called sura. And the other kind of people are asura. So asura is unfortunate persons who don't have this information. So by giving this information to more and more people, we can reduce the asura population in the world. We can increase the sura population in the world. So that is what Prabhupada says, asura. So the suras are always facing towards God. So they are always in the light. And asuras are always facing away from the God. So they are always in darkness. So that's what Prabhupada says here. Suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord and act accordingly. So their ways are as illuminated as the sun. So asurya means where there is no Surya. That is where these people go who are not serving in the right spirit. They become asura. And they go to asurya planets where there is no light only. They go to land of eternal darkness. So next is, intelligent men know the value of human body and it is compared to a strong boat. Can somebody explain this metaphor? What the scriptures give, and Prabhupada also talks about a lot. This metaphor of human body as a strong boat. Yeah.
Just like the boat takes us to the other side of the river.
Yes.
The human body alone can help us to cross the river of birth and death.
Ocean of samsara.
Ocean
Yes.
of birth and death. Okay.
Yes.
It's
So,
ocean of nescience for Prabhu.
the ocean of nescience. That is the material creation. This ocean we have to cross. We are in the middle of the ocean and drowning. Even the expert swimmer cannot swim across the ocean. So we are trapped there. 84 lakh species are simply drowning, 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 drowning. But only human body is a boat, a strong boat. So that's what human body compared to a boat. Because all other bodies are useless. They are like clay horses. They will drown. They are useless. But we have a strong boat in the form of our human body. So the body is a boat, but we are not expert boatmen. We need an expert boatman. Who is that?
Acharya.
Acharya is the boatman. So we should accept Srila Prabhupada as our, now we have a boat, but we have to accept Prabhupada as our boatman. Let him ferry us across the ocean. And then there are favorable winds. What are the favorable winds? The scriptures and all other the temples and our own instruments like mind and intelligence, all these are my favorable winds. Using my intelligence and my mind, I should learn the scriptures from proper sources and I should develop. Then very fast I cross the ocean. So that way the boat alone is not enough, but boat is very much needed. Unless you are in human form, you cannot do this. But once you have got a human form, you should properly use it. So those who don't utilize the human form, they are called Atma Ha Janaha. Atma Hana Janaha means they are killing the soul. They are killing their own soul. They are committing suicide. They are committing suicide by working for material sense gratification and wasting this rare form of life. They are called Atma. So Isopanisad warns that such people who commit suicide of their soul, they are destined to the darkest regions of hell. Darkest region of hell. So you can understand why these things are being told. Men are given facilities to live comfortably. Is it true or not? Prabhupada will explain. Animals have needs just like we have needs. But the needs of the animals are met in very nasty conditions. You see the dog, morning to evening, it is scavenging the street. Same thing with pigs, same thing with dogs, same thing with all other animal species. They have to work hard to even fill their stomach. Morning to night, they have to find a comfortable place to sleep. They have to find somebody to mate. There is so much of competition, and they have to defend themselves against enemies. So they have no way they can aspire for something higher. It is like firefighting throughout the day. So, but human beings are given comfortable way to live. We have a house, we cook our food, we eat, we grow our food in the farmhouses, things like that. So we are given comfort. So Prabhupada explains, among men, you take the case of a high-level public servant like a judge and an ordinary clerk. Who has more facilities? Judge is given more facilities. He is having a big bungalow, he is having big car, he is having so many servants. There are people to attend to his every need. But the ordinary clerk, he doesn't have all these facilities. Can you tell why?
The respect received by both the people are different, and the knowledge and the hard work done by both are also different.
The point is, the judge or a high-level public servant has very high responsibilities to the state. They have to execute very important services. So we don't want them to be troubled by petty worries about ironing their clothes or watering their plants in the garden or to drive the car to work like that. They should not be saddled with these low-level responsibilities. So they are freed as much as possible so that their mind power, their intelligence will be entirely on the task to be performed. That is why people at higher levels are given all facilities. Same way, out of 84 lakh species, God has chosen to equip us in so many ways. If we think about it, it's something, a whole meditation on this. Compare ourselves to animals and then understand how much more facilities God has given to human beings. So the purpose is that we have high responsibilities. So if we enjoy the facilities given by God and we don't discharge the responsibilities, what will happen? Prabhupada explains. So next point is why the status has changed now. The status has changed now means for human beings, so much facilities God has given. But are we aware of it now? No, we are also working morning to night like donkeys. What is our condition? We are all working 3 shifts, day and night, traveling 2 hours, 3 hours by city bus in crowded conditions, sweating in summer, and then coming all the way back home. And then we had to go to the market for buying provisions and so many things, so many struggles are there. So why man has lost what God gave? Why?
Because of lusty desires.
Because of lusty desires, because of not aligning with the will of God. God gave all these facilities for a purpose, but we take these facilities and put it to misuse, abuse. So the situation has changed. So Prabhupada says, everybody wants that I want to enjoy. So what is happening? They want to work hard. Men were not meant to work hard, but they say, we want to work hard. They want to create, I will work hard and have a good living. So what happens? Prabhupada says, then there is unemployment. Everybody looking for a job and they want to earn a lot of money. But there is the problem of unemployment. People are not able to find jobs. So all this has happened now. Even 100 years ago, people were not looking for jobs. Most of the people were self-employed and they were comfortable with decently their needs were being met and they had a lot of time, leisure time, which was meant to be used in God conscious ways. How do we have such amazing temples in Tamil Nadu? You still go to Tanjavur district and see so many amazing temples. How was it possible? Because people had a lot of free time. They were not working like cats and dogs like we are doing today, like donkeys and camels. They are working hard. But in those days, no. One season they will grow and everything will be stored in the temple and in other granaries, and people will be rest of the time serving God. They were building temples, they were building ponds, and they were doing amazing, opulent worship to the Lord. Like this, everything was God centered. You see today also so many temple cities, Mathura, Varanasi, you see in Tamil Nadu, Payani, Madurai, they were all temple cities, Srirangam. The whole city is built around temple. Everybody is having some service connected with the temple. So the status has changed today. We are struggling. Why? Because we are misaligned with the purpose of God. So when human body is misused, we encounter this situation. Our material life becomes miserable like an animal only. So, okay. So if a sincere sadhaka, supposing I take up spiritual life, but I don't complete it, I fall down midway, what happens to me? I will get a superior birth in my next lifetime. I will be born in a wealthy family. I will be born in a family where I will have again all the facilities and I can continue from where I left off, my spiritual sadhana. And if I am successful, then what to say? I go back home, back to God. So if I am unsuccessful sadhaka, even then my next life is guaranteed in a much, much better life so that I can pursue my spiritual sadhana. But if I am successful, I am out of this material world. So asuras do not try for perfection. So what happens to them? They fall into darkness of hell. They fall into animal existence. They take birth in animal bodies and they lose what amazing opportunity was given to them. I think our time is up. So I think Shloka 4 and 5, I will keep it for next session. If you have any comments or questions, you can ask now. 4 and 5, we will take it for next week. I once again reiterate my request, please have the book. If you did not have the book, let me ask you, I requested you to come prepared. So you have not prepared. So see, this seriousness I am requesting from you for your benefit only. Please don't be offended. Please don't be offended. I am saying this only so that you will get the best benefit of this book reading. This is a book reading. We are reading Isopanisad together. So I request you to please read, get the book, please read up to the 5th shloka and come for the next class so that you can have more meaningful participation. It's not that you answer from what you already know. No, I want you to read this Isopanisad book and answer from the book. That is where you will get, things will sink in. I am telling you, many things we believe we know. Many things when I say, you think, oh, I already know it. Yeah, I already know. Yeah, I heard it. Prabhuji is repeating the same thing only. I've been attending classes for 2 years. Nothing new he has told. Same thing. Deha, Dehi. He has told umpteen number of times. Nothing new. I am also hoping in the next class he will say something new. But no, nothing new is coming. It's all the same thing only. Spiritual science is very, very small. And I already know everything. Like that, we will get feeling. And that means we are finished. Because this is a ocean. This is a ocean. Maybe we have gone 10 feet down, hopefully. But it's a ocean which is unlimitedly deep. And we have to dive to the bottom. So that it's never we can say we know everything. So you have to read, you have to hear, you have to speak, you have to share with others. We have to have a whole struggle and you have to chant along with all these things. We have to chant to understand the scripture and we have to understand the scripture so that we can chant. To improve the quality of my chanting, to improve the quantity of my chanting, then I have to have the scriptures supporting me. That is why we are doing the scripture study. So I request all of you to please make this investment. You buy Nectar of this Sri Isopanisad, then you also buy Nectar of Instruction. It's another accompanying small book. And also Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion may cost you, I think, 100 rupees or 120 rupees, whatever. That's also not a very big book. All these three books, please have so that one after the other we can move on. Yes. So any questions, any doubts, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
In Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, it is said that nobody can kill the soul. It cannot be killed. But here it is mentioned Atmaha, killer of the soul. So can you please just explain, Prabhuji?
Yeah, they experience death. Yeah. The killer of the soul is one who experiences repeated birth and death. Because soul is, as you said, undying. So why should the soul experience death? Actually, so a devotee, he doesn't die. If you see the case of Narada Muni, he was the son of a servant maid. But then what happened? He came in contact with Bhakti Vedantas and he started hearing from them and he started eating their remnants and he started serving them and they gave him complete mercy. He surrendered to them. They gave complete mercy. As a result, he became a pure devotee and instantly his mother died. He had only one in the whole world, that was his mother, and his mother had only him, a maid servant. She died suddenly. And then Narad Muni became free and he started wandering the whole world in pure divine consciousness. And then what happened? One day the karma of this material existence was finished and instantly he got his spiritual body. Instantly. He was not even aware. Like a cloud, a lightning thunderclap, the way it comes, that way his material body was finished and he was in his spiritual body, he was Narada. Like that. There's no experience of death for a soul conscious person, for a God conscious person. But for others, they will experience repeated death and they will struggle, they will fear, they will cry out, oh, I have to experience death, I am becoming old and I am dying. That's what is Atmaha. They will undergo death experience again and again and again.
Prabhuji,
Yes, Mataji.
A person living in the materialistic way is killing the soul by putting it into the dark and ignorant world. That also, isn't it?
Yes.
He will be entering the...
Yes, Asurya planets, where there is no light. So you can imagine all animal body is like a dark region only. There is no self-consciousness only. There is no functioning will. There is no functioning intelligence. So it is as good as dead. It's like being a stone. What happened to Ahalya? Her husband Gautama cursed her. You become a stone. She became a stone. The soul became a stone, trapped. Like that. Is it living or dead? A stone. So like that. If you don't pursue the Ishavashyam in your life, you become Atma, soul killer. Same way, another kind of soul killer is killer of others. They are also called Atma. So modern education system teaches people you are not souls. You are only this body. Enjoy while you live. That is what we are taught. The scientists and doctors, nobody says there is a soul. They say this body has a beginning, this body has an end. That's all. Your life is only within that limited span. And after that, nothing. Don't worry. Go and enjoy. That is what they say. So they are also killers. Not only they are killing their own soul, they are killing the souls of others also by this kind of knowledge. That's why Prabhupada would say modern education system is a slaughterhouse education. They are preparing all the students to die. That's what they are doing. Hare Krishna.
So, Prabhuji, that means it only refers to those who are on material consciousness, Prabhuji.
Yeah, material consciousness. Those who are not aware of the Isopanisan principle. In fact, there is a parallel in the Bible. Can anybody remember? The Bible says, the soul that sinneth, it dies. You might have seen in some churches also. I don't know. 30, 40 years ago, they used to write it in the church walls. Nowadays, they write different things. The soul that sins, it dies. This is in the Bible. Does it mean the soul will die? No. The same Bible says also soul is eternal. It will go into eternal hell. That's what it says. The soul will be put into eternal hell or eternal heaven by God on the day of judgment. So the soul will not die. But why does Jesus say that soul will die? It's as good as death. As Mataji says, to be in the darkest region of hell, it is death only. Like that. So it is not death. Of course, Christian belief is wrong. That's not what Jesus meant. But that's another subject. Any other doubts?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, shall I ask one?
Yes, Mataji. Oh, Mataji, yeah, I am seeing your question in the here. Is it like we all have our own spiritual body? How do we know what kind of spiritual body we should get? Mataji, it's a very, very a deep question, and there are. I am not a very competent person to answer. There are two kinds of beliefs, understandings that devotees have. That one is that yes, we have a spiritual body. Krishna knows. We will be made aware of it when our time comes. So we call it the Siddha Deha, perfected body. So every soul has a body, obviously. We are not simply some consciousness, impersonal. Just as God is personal, we are also personal. So personal means we have a form. But this body is not personal. This body is impersonal. Why? Because this is made of a combination of elements, the 5 elements of matter: earth, water, fire, air, space. With that combination, this body has been made. I have no connection with it. I've been simply placed inside. The scriptures say that in the region of the heart, there is prana. Prana means one kind of vayu. It is there. In that vayu, the soul is floating. The soul is not even sitting. The soul is floating in that prana. That's all. When the prana leaves, it will carry the soul with it. The soul has no connection at all with this body. We are all so much attached to this body, but the soul is really not attached. So that is not our true nature, that some part of consciousness. The soul has a body, and that is a spiritual body. That body is given to us when we go to the spiritual world. So Krishna will give it to us. Then we perform bhakti and we become completely purified. We surrender to the Lord. Then the Lord will happily embrace us into the spiritual world with a new body. And it is told the Lord gives a body similar to his own. Some people say, your gods look like human beings, they say. But the fact is, God has made human beings in his likeness. Bible says, God made man in his likeness. We have been made in his likeness. So there is definitely a spiritual body which we will get by sincerely performing our spiritual service.
Bible says.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhuji,
yeah.
Bible says God made man of his own image.
Yeah, that's what Bible says. And that is what we also say. This material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. So whatever you see here is actually a reflection. The original exists in the spiritual world. But you know what the atheists, they say? They say, no. See, you are only imagining God. And you cannot imagine a different God. You are thinking God will be also like a human form. So they say God is man's creation. And man's creation is looking like man. So they call it anthropomorphistic principle. Anthropomorphistic principle. That means you imagine a God who is like you. Because they
Prabhu,
didn't.
please repeat the last question.
Yeah.
The last question. I want the question.
Question?
Yeah. Last question.
Mataji asked, Prem Bhakti Mataji asked.
It is in the chat, Mataji.
Mataji, you can yourself say, what is the question, Mataji? Prem Bhakti Mataji?
It is there in the chat.
Yeah, it is there in the chat.
We all have our own spiritual body. How
Yeah.
do we know what kind of spiritual body we will get? This is the question. And there is another statement related to this man-made. That is, man made in the image of God. That statement is also there, similar to it. Thank you Prabhu, for the wonderful answer. And in fact, when I watched that Narada drama, that time I got this realization that just like Narada Muni, he has his own spiritual body. He forgot about all those things and he was in the material world. So once the time comes, he has gone back and got his spiritual body back. So that means that we all obviously should be having a spiritual body.
Yes.
And we are forgetting all those things and we are living in this material world.
Yeah.
That's what
At the same time, we can say one thing more also. At this present level of our development, we need not evince too much interest to know what is my Siddha Deha. That's, even if it is told, it will make no sense to us. We will not know what to do with that information. As of now, we have to perfect ourselves. We should get rid of our material consciousness. We should purify the soul. Then the Lord will award our spiritual body. Why should we bother about it? Lord is the owner of the spiritual world, and He will give us that spiritual body, and He will take us with Him. So we have to only know that we are persons, but not persons with material bodies. We are persons with spiritual bodies.
out of curiosity, nothing else.
Hare Krishna. You know much more than I do. Hare Krishna. Yes.
But it
Hare
will,
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Sorry, yes, Mother, I don't hear you very well.
but it will carry subtle elements like mind and intelligence. But instead of false ego, it will carry true ego, Prabhuji.
No. See, the spirit is spirit. In this material world, we have 5 different elements and then 3 different elements, the gross elements, the subtle elements. Yes. With that, the body is constituted. Like a car is built with so many parts. No, there is a chassis, there is a tire, there is a dashboard, there are some glass parts, there is some metal parts, there is some rubber parts, like that. It's not like that. Spirit is spirit. In and out, it is spirit. Like a ball of butter. A ball of butter inside out, what it is? It's same thing. Same thing. Same spirit can operate as mind, it can operate as intelligence, it can operate as eyes, as ears, as nose, everything. It's the same spirit. So that's why we say now about Krishna, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti mantri. Brahma Samhita, he sings, Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti mantri. Krishna's every body part can perform the functions of all other parts. It's not like his eyes can only see, his ears can only hear, his nose can only smell. It's not like that. He can see from behind his head, like that. There is no limitation. The body does not impose a limitation. The spiritual body does not impose a limitation. So you don't have to imagine a separate mind, a separate intelligence, separate senses in the spiritual body. That is, we are thinking within our material limitations. So we should avoid that tendency by constantly reading scriptures in the association of advanced devotees. We should always do that. Does it answer your question, Mataji?
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, I have a question. Like, Prabhuji, like if we are left with some bhakti and all, so if we come again in this material world, so what are the chances that again if we come and we trace Krishna, again it will take a lot of time that Krishna is a Bhagwan or something, or we find some people are praying some other demigod in this world, so again we'll be, misguided and all. Prabhuji.
It is a very, very fair question, Prabhu. Very, very fair question, because right in front of us, we are seeing the level of degradation which is happening. Within the last 10 years, 20 years, how much degradation we see. Many things we knew, what I am talking about, subtle things. Today people don't know. Like, we used to know 2 things called shame and guilt. Yes. In our generation, we used to know something called guilt and shame.
Correct, Prabhuji.
They were important things for everyone. When I do wrong, I feel guilty and I suffer. And I have a sense of shame. I don't want to make myself a mockery in public by breaking the rules of morality. But today, that makes you a hero. If you break moral codes, you are a hero. If some filmmaker makes a film where he shows someone's wife makes away with another man who is married to somebody else, he destroys his whole family, and he has 10 different men having relationship, we will say it's a bold theme. And if a heroine appears naked in a movie, we will say she's a bold actress. And if somebody makes a more conservative theme of a woman serving at home nicely, her husband, etc., we will say it's a reactionary film. It's a backward film. See the language, how it is playing? So today, the word guilt and shame, gone. They have no meaning. They have negative meanings. They say you should not feel guilty. Just do it. If you want to do, just do it. There's no guilt. It's taught in schools, Prabhu. Children are taught not to feel guilty, to assert their rights, to assert, do what you want. So there is no shame. There's no shame. I don't know how many of you read in the newspaper, it came that in a school, the teacher asked the students, what do you want to become when you grow up? Who's your role model? So at the time, one famous woman from Assam who married a press person, a media person in Bombay, and she was living with him. She had had so many husbands before. And then she was accused of murdering her own daughter. And they were both in jail. And every day the headlines were showing, top headline was this lady who started from a small lower middle class background, and she became the headlines in newspapers for all the wrong reasons. How she made her way up the ladder, the social ladder or economic ladder, how she caught somebody and married him, and then ultimately became notorious for the kind of crimes, for killing her own daughter, etc. It was and this girl in the class said, she named her and she said, I want to be like her when I grow up. At a time when this lady was making headlines for all wrong reasons. So this is what is being planted in the young minds, that you should become famous at any cost. You should have a so-called good life. That's what. So what do you make with these children? How do you mold them? If this is the kind of desire that is growing in their hearts, what will they become when they grow up? So the world is not the same. So you are absolutely right. We should not plan to do 50% in this life. I can start 51% from my next life. Please, I would not suggest this to any one of you. Prabhupada never recommended this. Prabhupada said, please, 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 now we have come to Krishna consciousness. Make sure this is your last life. It is possible. There was a time it was not possible. People had to make many lifetimes. Varnashrama system. Many lifetimes to perfect your existence. But now we have the Mahamantra. We have to follow 4 regulative principles. We should not commit offenses. We should chant 16 rounds of Mahamantra every day. We will come back to Godhead at the end of this very lifetime. So why should we miss this opportunity? Thank you, Saurabh Prabhu, for asking this question. This must be there in everyone's mind. Not that, okay, I have made some progress, okay, I will see next life, I will do the rest of it. We should never think like that. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo